My name's Wadi.
My name is Stephen Anderson.
Aiden.
Alec McKenna.
It's Craig Guest.
My name is Shawn Norris.
My name's Keith Morrell.
Skiing, started in Banff with the hills open in Norquay, Sunshine, Lake Louise. So Alberta's always had ski resorts right from kind of a long time ago. Calgary was a good ski foundation for a city.
I would describe myself as slow but steady.
Loving, adventurous, outdoorsy person.
I would say that I am a classy yet sophisticated person.
I consider myself to be more daring than others.
I'm Dan Russell, co-owner of Ski Cellar Snowboard. Ski Cellar started in 1946 with the main location on 17th Avenue, 14th Street. We have a third location, which is right across from Ken Olympic Park in Bowness. I've been in a ski shop since I finished high school when I was 18.
From BC, moved here in 2007 for junior high, and then started just living out here, check things out. Love it here. There's more snow, less mountains sadly, but definitely okay city to live in.
I'm currently a SAIT student in the RTBM program, and I am living in Calgary, moved here from Medicine Hat.
I was originally from Edmonton, but we moved down to Airdrie because my dad got a job transfer.
I'm from Sheffield, England. I've been snowboarding for maybe 18 years now or something like that. Just decided it was time to come to Canada. I've never been on this side of the pond before, so I thought I'd give it a go.
Well, I play hockey a lot, and I bike in the summer and I board in the winter. So I'm very active, and I can't be one of those kids who just sit at home and play video games all the time. I have to be out doing something, otherwise I just can't live my life properly.
Winter got me into snowboarding because winter is so prolific here. It's like 10 months out of the year, at least, is winter. So basically, if you live here, you have to snowboard.
My first sighting of snow was when I was 17 in Montreal, and I really got caught. I don't know, I was kind of captivated. I grew up in the desert, never saw snow. And ever since then, I've been always wanting to do stuff that involved snow, whether it was snowboarding or cross-country skiing or anything really.
Weather, because it's always snowy here, then my buddy's always just like, you should start snowboarding. I'm like, that's a good idea. So picked up a snowboard last season for my birthday, then started just shredding on COP, then I started going to the mountains with other buddies, getting drives out there, then we took a Greyhound up there. Started loving it, getting good, and then rocking on the big jumps. Big, smalls, rails, powder, love the powder. Just loved it all.
Basically these two, I mean, I thought about it and I didn't really want to do it because I didn't know anyone that snowboarded. And then I found out these two were going snowboarding, so I thought I'd try it out. Bought some gear last year and loving it ever since.
My dad kind of always didn't push me but supported me in any sport stuff that I wanted to do, so I think he was keen on having a go at skiing.
All my friends were all doing it and I got sick of watching them on snowboards while I was on my skis.
We certainly plan to go do a few trips to some of the mountains in BC. I like to go, and my plan is to go and spend a few days in a row every month as opposed to go on weekends. So that's what I predict that I'll be doing mostly from December all the way till March.
Count down from 365 days from when it ends. From last season, COP closed. I'm like, hey, starting now, what, 180 days of summer? And then we're just like, hey, countdown starts now. Definitely excited every season.
My anticipation's high. I mean, I can't wait to get going in the mountains with these boys and get the season going.
Everything about it, I guess. You just constantly think of it. When it's summer, you just want it to snow, just so you can go out and shred. It's just how it is. You're just always constantly thinking all the time. Really.
Lots this year because I got my little guy. He's going to be snowboarding with us this year, so yeah, it's going to be a fun year for sure.
Sitting behind a desk all day working in IT obviously isn't very exciting. I was building up to this for probably a couple of months, wanting to do a season, but with no firm plans in place. Basically, I was going to stay in Europe. I was going to go to Austria or maybe southern Germany, but sent a few emails off to resorts over in Canada, thinking that it would pretty much be, it'd be quite difficult to get over here. But COP came back to me and they were keen, had a online interview, and they were keen to employ me. So from that point on, knowing that I got a job over here, it was hard to go to work, hard to sit at a desk, and when you know that the following season I'm going to be on my board every day and outside, not sitting behind a desk. So.
We hit a slippery patch of ice under the snow, and he just slipped and went off the cliff.
Pre-season training, I bike in the summertime, so that gets my cardio up. And then just pretty much, I have a trampoline, practice some spins, rotations, flips. Then I have a little, we're getting a bungee cable that's gonna let us, we have a couple ramps, rails at home, little kickers here and there. Yeah, that's about it.
I spend a lot of time at the gym doing lots of leg work, especially now, squatting, deadlifts. I do a bit, and I also have been actually doing quite a bit of swimming and playing soccer, and I do this a lot just because I know, like, when the winter hits, I don't want to be out of shape, especially when it's a really good day with a lot of fresh snow. So it's mostly really just weights in the gym that get me, and then a bit of cardio above that.
I just play football really back home, that's soccer over here, but yeah, just do that, get out on my bike, and I wouldn't say I specifically train for snowboarding.
When I'm out snowboarding, I'm usually playing baseball.
The skis are broken into kind of 3 different new groupings that happens with a ski, but its length is shorter than it's ever been, width is wider than it's ever been, and the side cut in a ski is more pronounced than it's ever been. And that's changed the whole foundation of how people ski and what they do on the hill and what they're able to do on the hill. Wood is still the main foundation of skis and snowboards, where an isocore or foam injection was used quite extensively. Now, just from environmental standards, it's much easier and much more practical to use wood in the construction, so wood, fiberglass, metal. It's important to pick your equipment with what level you're at and what level you're going to get to. So if a beginner rider starts getting into equipment that's well above their head, they're going to have a harder time and a struggle at it. The same as a person develops and starts getting better at the sport, unless they've got equipment that'll keep up to the level they're at, they're again going to have a struggle at what they're doing. You know, we've had a lot of people in the last few years which were brought up skiing, went into snowboarding for a new sport and a new variety in sport, now coming back to skiing and experience it. So they become multi-users of the sport, where they'll go out skiing and they'll go snowboarding. So the advances in equipment has made it way easier to enter the sport and way more fun to keep up with the sport and keep up with the technology. Safety has always been a big factor and a big concern with skiing. You know, right from the start of a releasable binding up to now, where a binding releases in multi-directions. Helmets have come on board, and it's funny when people say helmets are just a new thing. Well, when I was 10 years old, 9 years old, my dad always had us wearing helmets. So I've worn a helmet right from the start. And there's been a very short period where I haven't worn a helmet. In snowboards, you've got wrist guards, you've got different back protection for racers, you know, for people doing extreme skiing. So safety has always been a very big concern with riders.
Last year, I think I was hitting a pipe and I missed an edge and my arm landed behind my head and I dislocated my arm, had to pop it back in. Then I ripped one of my traps, like just minor, and then just today I hurt one of my knees on the rails, but no, it does a toll on your body for sure. But if you're smart about your wits on the hill, you're good, for sure.
When you crash, it really hurts, so I guess it's just, when you crash, it's crashing really, or when you're sore from before and then you go on snowboard, sometimes it makes it worse. And the cold, I guess, just really sucks.
I had a pretty bad accident about 8 years ago, hit a tree. I was on crutches for about 8 weeks, so yeah, I still feel that every once in a while.
I mean, depending on what you're doing, if you're going out to the parks, it is really physical on your body when you fall and whatnot. But I mean, if you're just shredding down the mountain, it's nothing. It's a piece of cake.
I've seen my friend take a pretty bad fall, almost cost him his life. He was we were hiking a volcano in the south of Chile, and we hit a slippery patch of ice under the snow, and he just slipped and went off the cliff. And that was probably one of my worst memories. But it was an eye-opener as well, because it made me realize, you know, once you get to the point of going into backcountry, you gotta really know your limits.
Regular maintenance of equipment is important, whether it's waxing every couple of times you go out or whether it's a full tune-up. So a customer would bring their skis in the fall and say, okay, what do I need to get going, and how am I going to start this season, and what do I need to do? So a tune-up on the ski, which is leveling the bases, sharpening the edges, filling any holes that are in it, is pretty standard. Regular waxing is important.
So I tried snowboarding once, and then I started progressing on it because I loved it.
Well, when I was probably about 12 years old, my class went on a ski/snowboard trip to Hidden Valley in Alberta, and I was skiing, and the boots that I was given didn't fit in the skis, so I just had a terrible experience, and I lost the skis. I'm like, I never want to try skiing or snowboarding again, until, you know, when I went out and learned snowboarding for the first time.
I wanted to try something a little different because I snowboarded maybe once or twice, skied maybe once or twice. So skiing was easy for me, so I wanted to try something a little harder. So I tried snowboarding once, and then I started progressing on it because I loved it.
Well, if I brought in a person new to the sport, a ski is going to cost them, you know, $400 for a ski and binding, and it can end at, you know, upward $1,200, depending on what their needs are. You know, but it's not that expensive to initially get into the sport and to keep yourself going.
Cost is definitely something you have to consider when getting into snowboarding. That's probably one of the reasons why I'm not all that good at snowboarding, is because the gear costs so much money, and then to actually get out to the hill costs, you know, gas money. Ski lift tickets are expensive. Food when you're there is expensive. And so just when you factor all those things in, it becomes just this humongous expense. And I mean, it's just not something I really have the funds for as a student.
Cost is a huge thing, because if you have something, there's always something better, so it really just makes you want to get the better thing. But if you have the stuff you need and like the money to use it, then you may as well.
Cost is big. It's expensive, but it's definitely worth it if you know where to go. That's for sure.
I think renting equipment is a very good option for people just getting into the sport. I think, you know, it gives them a chance to actually do it. Whereas if you couldn't rent your equipment, you'd have to buy it, and it's so costly. Which it gives a cheaper alternative to people who can't buy their own, like students.
One advice I can give is, and that's how it helped me a lot, is like if you are trying to spend a lot of time on the hill and you're restrained by time or cost, one thing you can do is you can look for a small hill somewhere where you live and just go up and down with your own board and even make a little jump at the end. That's actually what I did when I was in college. I didn't really have a lot of funds or money to just go out every weekend. But there was a little hill just by my campus. So I just take the board and just walk up, right down, walk up, right down. Just practice doing little tricks here and there on the hill, even though it's only like 50 feet long. It's all the vertical you can get, but it makes a world of a difference because it also gets you in shape, you know, and it makes you look forward to when you can actually go to the hill. So don't always rely on just needing to go to an actual ski hill with lifts and paying and transport and all of that. You can equally benefit as a beginner from going to just any little bunny hill around your house where kids go sledding, you know, with their families. And you can just practice doing your own thing there.
I don't want to give an exact number of how many times I fell, but I'd say it's probably more than 10.
My first experience, it was a little harder because it was just learning to keep your knees bent as you go down the hill.
The feeling of when you strap on the bindings and I actually got to put on the snowboard for the first time ever, it was such an incredible feeling, you know. Really kind of awe-inspiring. I think I definitely will pick up snowboarding now, you know. It's one of those things I was never able to say I could do this, but now I feel like, now that I've gotten out there for that first time, I feel like I can go out and, you know, maybe try and do this, buy the equipment and maybe join some clubs.
I never got a single lesson, and now I ride every single terrain that you can throw at me by just going to a little hill by my campus and just learning how to turn left and right, taking tumbles well, you know.
Going up maybe 4 times a week, taking time out of work, taking a holiday just to go boarding.
All I did was just ride down every day, ride some amazing terrain.
Going down double blacks, just trying all these different things.
Yeah, so that's it, you know, just work and the amount of people that ride here, it makes it hard to get a good day on the mountain without the snow being tracked out.
Pretty much, like I said, trying new things, trying like going up bigger hills, going down double blacks, just trying all these different things are big obstacles in it, but you just need to overcome them really.
Well, just money, I guess, mostly, right? Time. Take off time from work to go snowboarding.
Definitely get back up. Hurt and I'm just limping over to the hill again. I'm just like, okay, got my board in my hand, strap up, do it again, for sure. But other times where you just see hill patrol out and then you're out of bounds and you're like, oh no, they're gonna see me. But out of bounds is good, for sure.
Just keeping my boys, I think, interested in the sport and getting them out there. As long as they're on the hill, then I'll be good to go.
Going down them, I guess, trying them, like not really caring, just doing it and sending it.
The perfect moment is when you hit the right height off a jump.
Number one feeling I get when snowboarding is fear, because I'm not very good at it. So I'm trying hard not to do something that I can't do, and so generally I fall. But then once I get into the rhythm of it, you just become one with the mountain.
You know, I'd probably go pretty far. I wouldn't go as far as like losing my job and all that, but I mean, I'd go pretty far to try and get better.
I guess I'll just keep at it every season, every year. I'll just do more and better and just try new things, not let my confidence go above and beyond. Just try my best.
Take all the time I can just to be up in the mountains. Invest is a big thing for sure. Going up maybe 4 times a week, taking time out of work, taking a holiday just to go boarding, pretty easy.
Control my fear a bit more. Like I can definitely do a lot more if I can spend more time with, and I noticed this before, when I go ride with a bunch of people who are amazing, suddenly my level is just shoots up. Because I see what they do and I think that I can't do it, and I just pretty much copy what they do. Sometimes I've seen them go down cliffs and I'm like, oh yeah, that seems easy enough, follow them. If I was on my own, I would have never even thought of it.
My previous thoughts about snowboarding were that, you know, this is something that's too hard for me to do, that, you know, if I tried to take this up, it'd be like, oh, it'd be way too hard to do. But now that I've actually tried it, I'm like, you know, maybe I can do it.
I think I'm going to keep on snowboarding for as long as I can. I'm going to try my best and everything, like I said. I guess I'm not going to quit. Like, I don't feel any need at this point in time to quit. I think I'm just going to keep doing it until I do better, I guess.
In the future, I see myself, I mean, not going pro or nothing like that. Maybe coming out every weekend and just shredding with the homies.
I would say I had a lot of fun. You know, I definitely had a lot more fun than I thought I would.
Because there was this mountain and amazing terrain and snow, and just all I did was just ride down every day, ride some amazing terrain and go back up, and the whole day it'd just be fresh powder and no one around. I mean, sure, there was a couple of skiers, but that was it. You know, and that's probably one of my favorite memories, snowboarding.
I'd say probably the second day after Revelstoke opened up. I was out there with about 5 other buddies, and we just had the best day of our lives. There's powder like up to our waists and nobody on the hill.
Last year I went to Sunshine, and we went up to Goat's Eye at the very top, and we did the double black there, and just shredding through the trees and down the moguls. I think it was the hardest run I've ever done, but it was the most overcoming and fulfilling run because I completed it, so it just was the greatest feeling ever.
Snowboarding rocks. Everyone's got to do it.
That was kick ass.
Way better.
Thank you.
Oh my God, it's cold.
Make it the man. Do not allow emotions to get the better of you. Make it the man. Avoid ostentatious displays of wealth. Make it the man. And if wrong, accept apologies with a cold bath. Make it the man. From the Arctic waste, down to the roof, from the Bombay slums, Timbuktu.